All things settled, this is the last stage of the demo for Gray, and you'd best be prepared for whatever the stage decides to toss out at you, like these fish here, which are a little bit glitched. I normally just jump down the center of this shaft to the bottom. This cloud here is meant to make your descent gradual enough that you can endeavor all the way to the bottom, which is why you jump on occasion to let the platform rise. But the more important introduction isn't necessarily to our first bottomless pits, but this shield here. It supposedly wards against them, the cosmic shield. You can't use projectile attacks as frequently, but the ring of stars you toss out can hit enemies multiple times, and it's a large enough projectile that makes triggering the switches in this area a lot easier. Case in point, I accidentally set off the switch on the other side of there that's supposed to teach you the stage's gimmick. Oops. As you'd expect with a stage called Retro Ravine, it has a few underground sections to display that, and holy gods, does this remind me of Coral Cave from Sonic Rush Adventure, in the best, and now that I'm saying it, in one of the worst ways too. The color of the crystals in the walls, the pools of water, the rolling hairballs over pits of aggro-geometry, it just screams the epitome of beauty. Okay, not exactly that third one, but you get it, right? If I were to pick a vacation spot away from technology, this would be it. And speaking of vacation, guess who isn't playing with a full deck of cards? I don't quite know how I didn't register. Usually my awareness is simultaneously between Batman and the standard isekai protagonist. But I fire a shot, somehow forget about the size of the projectiles I'm using, and become bewildered at the fact that I now have a water shield. Talk about spaced out and waterlogged. The enemies on the right here try to damage your progress, but they only ever fire every second layer, so just make sure to take your time, or if you're more like an Eddie, rush up the tower just after one of them fires. Come on. Okay, so this next section here, the waterfall actually has a little sucker punch trap where one of those shooty things on the tower comes up, but I had a bit of trouble getting it to just show up. Just know it's there, ignore the obvious failure reel, though it does give me the opportunity to bring up Techno-It, which somehow, don't ask me how, has kiosks in alternate worlds. Past Moonlit Cove, enemies drop varying amounts of gems, which can be spent for one-time spike protection, weapon refuels, even shields at certain points, should you require them. I recommend you have a water shield going into this section, which asks you to hit 3 switches within it. The left switch requires another ascension, followed by descension at a waterfall that you can't jump through. The right switch reuses the crystal pushing gimmick required from the first boss, Signe, with your body acting as the last dead weight for the last switch, and the last switch is underwater, just below where you start. Even if you know where to look, the shield will at least help you avoid drowning, since you'll be in the water a lot, and at most, give its life for you to save the piranhas around you, or win an absorb to protect you from the spike pit. I didn't exactly go over it back in Moonlit Cove, but you can in fact drown when you run out of air. No duh. Which, in this game, leads to steady chip damage and the most annoying sound in the world, a persistent beeping that just gets in your ears. And for whatever reason, is only audible in this stage. I think it's something to do with the sound channels. I think it needs to be a tweaking. And speaking of tweaking, Macron Magic's minigame actually has its stage music tied to the sound effects channel. I'd like to reiterate again, I tried to figure out a way to enhance the voice clips, but I don't really want to record another playthrough and meddle with 2 or 3 different soundtracks, just to line things up or induce incredibly non-ideal voice doubling that just sounds unprofessional. Kinda like how I just decided to stand at the exit there, just so you could see how completely not beautiful music of this area is while underwater due to the fool talking over it. Hi, by the way. And who put you in charge of the clock? Seriously, Foss has gotta take her time here. I mean, these guys keep shooting bricks at you. Okay, not exactly bricks, but regardless, it's a relatively simple section. Just keep dodging things, navigate yourself carefully through the spike labyrinth, and oh, come now! That's just rude. Well, again, what else is he supposed to do? I mean, Foss is pretty much doing all the work here. It's not like you can do anything, Gray. I mean, can you fly? I'd like to see you try to navigate all this. Anyway, these waterfalls have some health in them should you need it, and there's also a nice little shield here. Also, again, should you need it. And trust me, you'll need it. 'Cause... oh no. You know, it's been a bit. How hard could this be? Turns out, while I absolutely love this demo and would gladly pay any money for the final product, this section I absolutely hate. Guaranteed, every time I play this stage, something goes horribly wrong, and usually it's in this section. This small rail cart from Kiro is supposed to be your means to the other side, but for one, it's a really small platform. Problem 2 is that, a la Mega Man 1's Guts Lifts, it falls away every so often, prompting you to jump the gap. I've tried many ways my first time through to pass over the precarious pitfalls, and this is when I defaulted to the Donkey Kong air jump method I mentioned all the way back in Bullet Cove. Platform, falls, I jump, double jump, land on the other side. The lasers raining down on you prove to be a two-part distraction, where 1, they can harm you and knock you off the platform, and 2, they can make you panic and knock you off the platform. Usually if you stand on the right corner and crouch, you can ignore them and focus on your jumps, but if the Bronco bucks you off, it's gonna ride off into the sunset without you, and there ain't no happy ending. There's also a bit of a bug tied to this platform where, while it's solid, it only registers whether or not Gray is touching it, as opposed to having his feet planted on it. That leads to him being pushed along. This wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for the fact that it locks your controls, and more often than not, will drag you down into thorny Hudraw until you manage to get past, or on or otherwise down the pit like a discount Jello shot. In my research of the project, I vaguely remember something about the devs saying Stage 3's railcart section was buggy, and as a result scrapped for the August demo, but I have been wrong in the past, and will frequently admit to running my mouth when I really shouldn't. Regardless, this ain't the August demo, and this section needs a lot of balancing. Maybe a second platform, or shorter fallaway sections. I think it'll depend on an engine quirk just to pass the obstacle, and I know that because, for a time, Freedom Planet 1 had, and in some places still has, a similar issue. It isn't exactly fair design. But then again, this is the lowest the game gets in my eyes. Especially considering the high point is immediately afterward. Though another oddity, the shield you're given just before the fight can't be carried into this one. I think the screen transition or runaway stalactite is eating the shield in the meantime, but honestly, you don't need it. Also, I didn't mention that face that Fortuna just made there. It's amazing! I'll probably pull it up again just so you can see it, but the reference that Dusky used to make that particular portrait for Fortuna, just yes, it's beautiful. We seriously need more memes of that face. Cue the Reckoning of Foss. Cue the Get Reckoning of Foss. Well, at least she tried. I guess we can give her that much credit. And rude, Divex! You almost rubbed out your partner there. Way to go! I mean, it's not like Karaka's half your body or something, and now he is. Congratulations! You're not even half as cooked as your partner's namesake. That deserves an award, too. And at that, we need to get to this boss here, which also deserves an award, the Daikrainu. This boss fight is as much of a nod to Freedom Planet's Robopanther as Lord Brevin is to Sonic SatAM's Robotnik, a nice friendly reminder that instead goes to do its own thing in a glorious fashion. If you haven't gotten a grip on the controls by now, this thing will ensure you remember it. It can light the floor ablaze, stomp down at center field, fire a beam into the ground with thunderous might, pepper you with rainbow shot traps, and when you finally chip down enough of its health, it'll shield itself from further damage and go into one of its transition attacks. Vertical beams are simple to avoid if you stay close to the center, but it taunts you with health pickups on the ground that look super tempting and might actually cause you to take more damage than you heal if you go for them immediately. The other transition attack, I'll show a clip, is one where he throws out a bunch of poles in the background that swing horizontal beams at your feet, and if you don't jump in a good rhythm, you'll suffer a lot of damage that way instead. The entire fight just feels so frantic and fast-paced, and the music does nothing short of pump you up and let you know this is the turning point. This is just a sample of how threatening your true enemy is, and your first time through, you will be struggling. That's why the double jump is a great way to help you pace your damage and dodging enough so that you can reach phase 3. The shots Final Fly puts out aren't too bad to avoid, but its laser attack doesn't have much of a tell, and can easily creep up on you for a free hit. It could try to puncture you with its tail from the ground too, or swing at you from above ground like so. Keep to the side of the green on its tail, and switch sides once its first stroke ends. Keep the pressure going when you can, and this Final Fly will say its final goodbyes. Or we could say that it's finally flying off, or that it's finally died. Okay, now I'm just going on a really bad tangent, aren't I? I gotta have one good pun at least, right? Well, we've hit the end of the Gray side of the demo at least. Overall, it's got a lot of memorable moments, great stage design, amazing music, and out of all the projects of Amateur Games Expo 2019, it's impressed me the most out of pretty much all of them. Sure, there are quirks here or there, and the railcart section especially needs fine-tuning, but it's an amazing project that I'll definitely be following in the future. If you want to keep track of the game's progress, I'll leave a link in the description for the official game Twitter and the dev DuskyUmbreon. But all things aside, I think it's about time I return to the void. Till again, Taliki.
Story, but there's something really bad going on.
Save it. Can you just let Fortuna go?
Oh, yeah, hold on.
You sound surprised. You knew I would beat him, right? Speaking of broken, is he alright? Hey, wait! I don't think he's interested in hurting us anymore.
Yeah, the mask, it was... No! Well, yes, but it's a mind control device. The king's gone mad. These masks keep the royal guard under control. I barely had enough will left in me to lose to you.
You let me win?
Trust me, if all of me wanted you dead, you'd be dead.
You want to go back in the cage?
Despite me holding back, that was still an impressive show. You've got potential. You could stop the king, stop all of this madness and free the rest of the centuries, like me.
You were literally just trying to kill me. Now you're saying I can save the world?
Not that you can. That you must. Sorry in advance.
What is it with me suddenly falling into holes today?